Come on. Mama said, there'll be days just like this. And there's the room fill all the way up, be sure. And I mean just that, be sure to hit the like button as we continue to grind to shine. Come on. Yup. Come on. Mic check, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, sir. I'm almost finished setting up. Just be sure we're live on multiple outlets. Salute to the Facebook group as well as the YouTube. 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on. Yeah. Come on. What's good with everybody? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. Be sure to hit the like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys sports talk and beyond, and that's including the ice wall, baby. I want to say this. The sense of urgency, what do that mean? Where do that come from? Well, one can argue that this is the middle of the season. We're heading into week 7, and the Cowboys, most will say they need to have a sense of urgency. 4-2 right now, and it's hard to identify what the offense is. It's hard to identify what this defense is. It's hard to identify everything about this team. Are we a team that can win on the road? Are we a team that can win, dare I say, against a plus 500 team that's dominant like the 49ers? Or are we the guys that lost to the Cards, right? Who are we? Where are we going? What is the ultimate goal here? Are we just winning so that we can win, or are we winning to try to win the ultimate game? And that would be playoffs and Super Bowl and things like that. How do we get there? And I can tell you, for those who are great in life and for those who do wonderful things, they do self-inventory. And this is what the Cowboys did this offseason, or bye week, I meant to say. They should have been doing self-inventory. Who need to get cleaned up? Who need to go through the health rigmarole? Who need more and more reps? Where do we need to move pieces around? And 9 times out of 10, what most teams would do is they would look into their inventory and say, all right, cool. Let's bring in XYZ player to get us over the hump. Or are we satisfied? Do we believe in the hearts of the players that we do have? Are they capable? Can they pick up the system? Are they eligible to do things beyond just winning by scrapes or scraps or what have you? That's what we need to figure out. There's no team that win the Super Bowl in week 4, week 5. But for dog sure, heading into the month of November, you would know everything about your team. And that is what the great Bill Parcells would say, hey, check with me around Thanksgiving, and I'll let you know. Well, right now, the Cowboys, heading into week 7 versus the L.A. Rams, the Cowboys is in a situation now, whereas are we okay with our offensive line? Are we okay with the offensive performance, whether it be red zone, money zone? Are we okay with run game? Are we okay? Are we identifying the issues now before it's too late? There are many people right now that's watching this podcast or watching this content that I put out saying I'm okay. It's okay. Even though my car check light engine is on, it's okay. I know how many miles I can go. Even though it says, hey, we need an oil change, some people are okay with that. Even though we may have spare tires on the car, hey, man, although the instruction says 50 miles driving or no longer or more distance than 50 miles, some people are okay. But in order to win deeper, you're going to have to make sure that you're not okay with the things that people are accepting as okay. And that is what it is. The iron sharpen iron theory is that. And I got a chance to listen to Big Nate Newton earlier this morning on the Cowboys podcast. A salute to them. And he was talking about, hey, sometimes you need time. Those are things that we don't have. It's time. And he was talking about Mike Solari. And one of the things that he was trying to diffuse a little bit on the latter end of that podcast, I'm quite sure you guys need to check it out, is that he was talking about the fact that the Cowboys, with Solari, the problem that they have is time, that they didn't have enough time. And he called out one of the guys that have a 99 rating on Madden, So I'm going to play some of that audio, and then we're going to go over the two best teams that's in the National Football League right now. And where do we measure? And how can we stand tall versus those boys? But I appreciate everybody, man. If this is your first time ever tuning in, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and Beyond. My timestamp is a little off, so he may be diving into some of the details before I get to it. I appreciate you guys. I thought it was at the 57 mark, but it's somewhere else. If you guys have that direct mark of time, let me know. But for right now, this is Cowboy Storyline. By the way, it's one of those great things. I'm going to post it right here, and y'all be sure to check them boys out over there. Hold on. Boom. Here we go. Here's the full link to the audio on Cowboys.com.
This happens.
We were lucky.
Well.
And we were lucky.
Yeah,
just like
you have to be.
We talked about it last night. I'm how Philly was lucky. They got no penalties. They were lucky. How do you go through a game with no penalties?
We're going to expound on that.
See, like
a little later.
Favorite. I'm serious. Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, I mean that was interesting though. I mean the NFL's going to have. I mean, because the thing about that game, we're talking about Philly and Miami, and Philly had 0 penalties. I believe Miami had 10. Okay. But Philly is one of the most aggressive teams in the league. And so for them to not be called for penalties like that at home, that's odd to me. That's very odd. All right.
I don't want to pour that on because, a lot of people will just point out that those are just excuses, right? The Miami Dolphins had their chances to win that game. Yeah, they were hosed by the aficionados. Yes, they were down 2 people on the offensive line. I believe they had 2 injuries on the offensive line, 2 injuries in their secondary. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The narrative will be the narrative. Nobody cared how much the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Jets. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cared how they were hosed. The Jets were hosed in that game. Everybody for damn sure knew Taylor Swift, right? That's all that cares. It's entertainment, baby. The narrative has already been written. It's already out there. And the only way that you can change it if you win the crowd. Just like the movie the Gladiator. You got to win the crowd. The storyline. You got to tickle somebody fancy that's way above and the higher ups. You're going to have to tickle their fancy. This will be a great storyline. It don't matter how lopsided it is. But right now, ain't nobody topping the storyline of the Kansas City Chiefs Eagles rematch in the Super Bowl. Ain't nobody, because it's already written. From the Taylor Swift jerseys, and then you got to play against Jason Kelsey. Then they got a Swift over there. Shoot, don't you know how much money that will make? But you're going to have to create that you're going to have to create that itself. You're going to have to destroy that narrative yourself because hey, nobody's going to care. The Swifties are taking over the NFL like she is the only people, you know what I'm saying, the only celebrity to ever date someone that's playing in the National Football League. Don't nobody care. So you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and play. You know that Pat Mahomes is a dynamic quarterback. You know what he's going to bring to the table day in and day out. You know that for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we seen just last night that the Eagles, they're going to do whatever it takes to get star-studded players on their side of the field. They ain't finna be looking and sitting back saying, hey, this wide receiver drop a ball, let me think about 4 or 5 weeks later in order to make moves. I would not be surprised if by the end of trade deadline that they get the Jeremy Chin kid. That they pick up another safety or they pick up another DB. They're trying to win at all costs. Listen to this right here.
Let's real quick, going back, Anthony in Seattle asked the question, old school versus new school, is there anything really different about the offensive line back then and to now?
I'm telling you,
this is the part I wanted to hear.
Our feet collectively were better. Now, they may have some individuals with great feet, like the kid from the Chargers with great feet, or Trent Williams with great feet and physical, but we worked on that. I mean, we religiously worked on that. Our coaches made sure our feet were in sync. Hudson Hawk was the master in the drop step. He had all of us drop stepping in sync. All our blocks was based off of this drop step. And our running back steps were all based off of these steps. And we worked religiously. And I do not have a problem with the way the NFL runs their system now. The Players Association has got it where players don't be as physical in practice.
He talking about practice, and he talking about those things, man. As this
but what you're doing is you're stunting the growth of offensive linemen. Offensive line, out of all the position groups, need to be more in sync. Listen. You know, and I understand people have always tried to play the best 5 linemen, but I told people if you give me 3 above average offensive linemen and 2 stud linemen, no matter where the position or where they play at, I can win you some games because I would have a system that puts everybody in sync, you know. And so that's why, you know, when you see the bad offensive line play, that's why only 5 or 6 teams have complete offensive line, because you can't take any guy and put him in here and try to get him in sync. You have to have an above-average guy. Every one of them guys you named, Kevin Gogan, Nate Newton, Mark Stepnoski, Mark Tournay, we were either free agents or we were 8th-round picks or 4th-round picks. But we were above-average offensive linemen, and we could all
listen to Big
get in
Nate,
sync.
man.
And we stayed healthy.
Yeah, that's a big key here. One last one is a text question from Jeremy in Woodbridge, Virginia. He says, great show. Thanks for creating an outlet for the fans. He's not sold on Tyler Biadasz. He wants to ask Nate, what would your scouting report be on him and any options for the trade deadline? I don't know about that for center.
It ain't nobody out there.
But what's
listen to this part right here, and I apologize for not having it all queued up nicely. But, hey, we good, man. It's Monday, man. We got a lot of times, man. We got a lot of time out here. So, y'all okay? Let me know if y'all okay. Give me a thumbs up. And let me see some fire in the chat, because he's about to dive into some good parts. And I don't want you guys to miss the meat worrying about the potatoes, because all of this context matters, right? And we're going to dive into this, and we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to go over the NFL stuff. And then if time permits, we will open up the phone lines for you guys to get your Q&A going. Let's go.
What's your scouting report on Tyler Biadasz?
He's a C+, B- player. And as long as he's healthy, everything with Biadasz is predicated on health. I ain't talking about the little nicks and bruises, you get on your arms and maybe a little sore back or something. I'm talking about injured.
Yeah. Where
you get that ankle really wrenched or you get that hamstring really pulled. Everything is based off him being healthy.
Did y'all have C+, B- players in the 90s?
You don't have to
name names, but I mean.
Let me say this right here. The great Tim Calishaw wrote an article that Tournay, Mark Tournay, Kevin Gogan, and Nate Newton, not only will you not be in a Super Bowl, you won't even win a playoff game. Coaching makes all the difference in the world, but time heals it all, puts the glue. Time. If Coach Mike Solari had enough time in practice or before practice or after practice, he could put this offensive line together better.
Reason why Nate is spitting the truth right now, ladies and gentlemen, and some people will go into one ear and say, hey, Solari just trash or these offensive linemen just trash, and this is just what it is. Big Nate knows Mike Solari. He understands the capabilities of Mike Solari. But whenever you try to rush something, a lot of people, they will look at another team and say they were able to do it, but they don't account for that they are on their chapter 7 or chapter 13. Comparison is the robber of all joy. It's the thief. People right now saying that they want to start their content creation, their YouTube page, and they wanted to have it just like this. Day one. They want to have the Shure mic. They want to have the doggone stand. They want to have the Roadmaster where I can press a button.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
And it's not going to be perfect day one. You're going to have to go through some growing pains. And even if you have the levels of knowledge and experience, you got to also understand that you're going to have to develop chemistry. There's people right now that's watching this right now that's 10,000 times better than me. But the only thing that slows them down is time and their willingness to press the record button or to go live. They are talking, they rehearsing in the car, and they're so great at what they do. But they are saying to themselves, let me get the camera first. Let me get the mic first. Let me go ahead and get the outfit. Why do Law always wear the hoodie? Why he just don't put on other clothes and things like that? Time. I got over 10 to 15 suits over there in my closet. Button downs, fresh. Look so clean that, you think I'm going to be laid down in a casket. Sharp. Italian shoes. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. But it's not going to give us more or less here because y'all would prefer me talking the real to y'all, spitting the truth to you all. And those are the realities of it. But neither here nor there, as more and more people pile on in, let's hit this play button right here. Let's listen to the great Big Nate.
In the offseason, he needed more time. The biggest thing that crushed him is when our right guard held out. I mean, get your money, and I'm glad he did. I think he's worth every penny of it. But when he held out, he blew the whole scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to credit coaching. I mean, let's also remember this, maybe the reporter was way off, which he was. I mean, you know what I mean? And that happens all the time.
Right.
Is that
it's okay?
Yeah, but he's wrong.
But the type of coaching we was getting at the time before these guys came in, he was correct because we couldn't get in sync. We never knew what we were doing. But when coach,
why not say that then? Why not say this coaching staff?
He didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
Nick, you got to give Nick.
Listen,
you got to give yourself credit because you're willing to look at both sides of the picture.
Right.
But when back in the day, when a reporter said something, it wasn't another outlet to dispute it. It was the word.
I get it. The thing that bothers me sometimes with media, it happens a lot, is this team I pick USC to win the national championship or whatever, and they lose 2 games. And then What's wrong with them? Whether they're not very good. They didn't live up to expectations. Well, maybe you just suck as a reporter. Right. Maybe you suck at evaluating. Right, I'm just saying that happens all the time. Where media throws stuff out there, their predictions, and then they're wrong, and then they point the fingers of why they were wrong. Maybe you just didn't evaluate it correctly. Right. That's the way I look at it. So, anyways, all right, good show. Appreciate Nate Newton stopping by here for these 2 shows here as we shuffle the podcast. We'll be back.
We'll have Woody on Wednesday.
We'll see. I don't know. I haven't really called him yet, but we'll see. But if we do change it around, you're the first guest that we've had that's not on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that's
Big Nate Newton, man. If you stroll up, you'll see where I posted the link. Basically, he was breaking down that the time that Zach Martin stood out, and didn't, or held out. That's a better way to say it. It hurt the chemistry of the offensive line. The offensive line is the only unit that all 5 guys must be on the same page. And on top of that, by you putting in someone else, it affects the right tackle and it affects the center. And right now, believe it or not, our right tackle is not playing all the way up to the levels that we want him to play at. And he's not trash. I'm not calling out Terrence Steele. Of course, he's battling back through a recovery situation. And we were going to look at that and say, hey, give him grace. Give him a year, what have you. And then you have also Tyler Biadasz, who's battling through a hamstring. Give him a little grace, right? And he's having one of his years that he didn't have like he had the last year. That's all I'm going to say with that. So it is one of those things, Cowboy Nation. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And the results say these type of things right here. Where are the Cowboys at in this particular division? We're number 2. We're number 2 right now. The Eagles are by far the best team in the NFC by record standards, right? In the AFC, the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. Those are credits to those both teams. Now, of course, the upcoming week, we got the not Detroit Lions. They lost this weekend. People are not going to hold their feet to the fire, and that's just given. The expectations is not as high there as it is here. And trust me, anybody who jumped on the bandwagon of the Detroit Lions, hey, it's not a big fall off on that particular aspect of it, right? They the Detroit Lions. So here's what I can say here. Ladies and gentlemen, the sense of urgency. We did a video earlier this morning, and I would say the Jalen Johnsons of the world, if we can get a chance to pick him up, scoop him up to be on the team, that will be a plus for us. Also, the aspect of Hunter Renfrow, we can stretch that out. The aspect of Devontae Adams, you can scratch that out, in my opinion. The Derrick Henry news and Zach Ertz. Those 2 are intriguing, but running back shelf life age like bananas on top of a refrigerator. I don't think that the Cowboys are looking at this particular team and saying, hey, this is something that we need. This is something that we really would like to have. Because the Cowboys, they don't like their draft picks. They love their draft picks. And they are so in tune with that. I got a super chat, and I appreciate you. Thank you for your support here. We got a super chat. We got 2 super chats, by the way. Let me see if we can read these out before we go into the next conversational piece. Appreciate both of you guys for tuning in. Got Sanjay, Cowboys beat the Eagles 2 times, and the narrative is down the drain. The Cowboys have to take what they desire, stop taking a back seat. Yeah. The narrative, the Cowboys control their own destiny. They do. And they can't lean on, and I'm going to put this into the proper perspectives here, Sanjay, and we're going to go to Glenn's super chat as well. The Cowboys got to understand that at the end of the day, it's kind of like what Thanos said in that movie. I'm all big on Marvel or what have you, or in DC, and then I'm merging them all together. But, shout out to Marvels and everything. But what I'm going to say here is what Thanos eventually had to say. I'll have to do it myself. The Cowboys are in the driver's seat. When I made the video back in the driver's seat, I meant that. They're going to have to, look, if the Dolphins wanted to win that game, in which I believe they wanted to, they had to play perfect. When they saw the call, they had to know in their mindset, the refs ain't giving us diddly. They had to understand that. When they called that roughing the passer, they should have known then, oh, we got one of these games. This dude literally two-hand touch, flags galore. You're going to have to understand that sometimes you're going to have to navigate a game and play the game within the game. If the aficionados is not calling holding, and they calling holding on you, you're going to have to say to yourself, I can't use that. I can't go into the media and say, hey, look at all of them holding. Nobody cared. So you're going to have to, whenever we play the Eagles, and if that official crew is out there, you're going to have to tell your players, hey, penalties that we can't control, we got to control them. What are those? Offsides. Those are things that the Dolphins could have controlled. False start and offside penalties. The pre-snap penalties. Those subjective calls, like the face mask on the PI, those are things that they had to say, we're going to get hosed on. A big play, the big play on the edge for Tyreek Hill for 11-yard, 12-yard, and his callback, those are things that they're going to have to say, damn, that's how they calling this game tonight. Unfortunately. But the Cowboys going to have to do it just like Thanos when he said, hell, I have to do it myself. Well, let me see if I got that audio. I think I got the audio. Yeah, it is right here. Watch Thanos. Watch what he say. That's him loaded.
I'll do it myself.
He said, fine, I'll do it myself. It was a long little drop, though. I'm going to have to cut it and put it into perspectives. You going to have to do it yourself. Because they're going to, if the game was reversed, and if the Cowboys have any game, even if it's preseason, and if it's 10 flags called on the opposition and not us, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, 2-letter, 3-letter, it'll be a new letter, 2-letter, or 1-letter network. Shoot, they'll be talking about, hey, Jerry Jones is fixing this. But if another team do it, hey, it's water under the bridge, baby. And these are not complaints. These are truths. Truths are a hard pill to swallow. But nobody don't want to say them. All right, so the second super chat, I appreciate you, Glenn. Thank you for your support. Is our O-line built for straight line power instead of pulling, trapping, off-tackle runs, or is that Mike McCarthy just can't design diverse run plays? Oh, my goodness. Hey, that's a good one, Glenn. That's a real good one. That's a real good one, Glenn. It goes back to what Big Nate said. Timing. He was talking about feet, being in the right spot. He's talking about the aggressions, and one of the worst things that happened in the NFL was good for the collective, but bad for offensive line, right? And he was talking about how hungry. People talking about Wall of Dallas. He said he got hungry guys out there, 8th-round draft pick when they was doing still later, deeper rounds than 7, right? 4th-round draft picks out there, guys that was cut before. Those boys were hungry, but they had two-a-days. They had time. He said time heals it all, but now they rushing things. And unfortunately, when you rush things, you see the micro issues from the teams, whether it be stance, whether it be hand placement. So I'm not finna paint Mike McCarthy into a corner with this. But what I'm going to say here is on a longer form of that interview, ladies and gentlemen, on a longer part of it, they were also talking about, within the confines of that interview, about Dak Prescott. He looked better when he played freelancing. Well, not necessarily freelancing, but when they got him on a motion, when they got him on a move, when they moved him around a little bit more. But when he was stationary, we don't look that good in games. And then he said, if you look back at some of the bigger games of even Dak Prescott, you will see the movement of him, right? You see the openness of him, right? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to you. So, with that being said, look, this week, of course, we got another NFC East roundtable talk, I believe, on Wednesday night. But also, we do have a rivalry game, the Giants versus Washington team. So we're gonna go over that. But we got to understand too. I got to say this: they are one loss away from losing it all. And I'm talking about this team right here. Let me put my deep, safe music on. Y'all know what I'm about to play something when I play this right here. Yeah. You had to know these type of things, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm going to tell y'all, that there's always going to be double standards. And you're just going to have to be able to withstand those double standards. That's just unfortunately the way things are. Jonathan Allen.
What's it like after a loss like that?
They whooped our ass, plain and simple. Got to be better.
Anything they did that surprised you guys early on?
No, I want to say so. I think it's just a lack of focus on our part, a lack of attention to detail, not starting fast, and creating holes that are too big for us to overcome in the second half.
Does it get frustrating when that seems...
Yes, it does. I'm fucking tired of this shit. Fucking tired of this bullshit. It's been 7 fucking years of the same shit. Tired of this shit.
What can you do now going forward to get it turned around?
Get our minds right and get ready to play fucking Philadelphia.
That boy right there, hungry. He mad at the world, baby. He is. It only take one grain of rice to tilt the scale. A balance. Washington versus the Eagles would tell us all about what Washington is all about and what's all the Eagles are about. Just putting that out there. Y'all know how that goes. Also, within the confines of these conversations, shout out to you, Jay Recruiter. What you got here? Right now is when the contenders start separating from the pretenders. Lions and Dolphins might be pretenders. I'll give you that. This is the first devastate. Well, no, Dolphins lost badly against who the Dolphins lost bad to? I think the Bills, right? You learn more from your failures than your success. So, and I'm going to give the Dolphins this right here because the score of the game didn't really present it the actuality of the game, if I can say that, right? Shout out and give credit to the Eagles on stopping the run and forcing them to throw the ball. But 31-17, if you are a diehard Eagle fan, you can be happy for the moment. But you got to understand too, like, hey, these things were pretty much laid up for me. Right? And that's measured. That's measured right there. Only I'm not going to call him a fool. But only let me see how I can put it. I'm trying to preface this word uniquely. Only a singular vision person would see, oh man, we just beat down the Dolphins left and right. We dominated every single category. Nah. You got away with a few. But you will prefer, and I'm going to say this as a athlete or as a content creator, you would prefer to get away with a win versus losing and then trying to figure it out on the back end. You prefer the way you won versus the way you would have lost if it went the other way, basically. So that's just all I'm going to say with that. But far as the Lions, we'll see how they bounce back. So if they have a pile on, whoever the Lions play the next week, and they lose again in this fashion, then you can say, yeah, they are the pretenders. That's a better way to say that, Jay Recruiter. Right? But teams, the sense of urgency will be right now, the Cowboys going into whatever reservations or reserve they got to pick up the phone and get to work and say, we're not satisfied where we at right now. We can become better if we do X, Y, and Z. We won the game. It's all good and fine and dandy. Tunnel vision. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Asmodeus. Tunnel vision. You got tunnel vision like, hey, we okay. Everything all right. You won't make it far. But in reality, it's always good. That's why I said that sometimes the structure is good. The structure is good not to have the same person who's the owner and the general manager. Because there's no applied pressure. And I'm not saying that the Eagles got a better structure, but sometimes checks and balances are things that you need to have. Because it will hold more and more accountability to you. It will have you second guessing. Hey, are you sure about that? Are you hear me out? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about paying this man $60 million? That's hurt. I'm not calling him out, but that's what a check and balance system goes. Are you sure about that? If you put this man on a franchise tag, then we won't be able to recoup. We got $91 million heading into the season. If you put him on a franchise tag, there will be $60 million or whatever, it was 34 or 35 for $40 million that we can't recoup. And that's Dak Prescott's situation in 2020. Don't you know what you could have done with the $90 million? But when there's no checks and balances, you can make those type of movements. Who you gonna fire? Who you gonna fire? Me?
Look at this law.
So sometimes you got to look at it from that aspect of it. Short Dog, shout out to him. Shout out to Short Dog. He said the front office like to shop at the dollar store. Yeah. Look what I brought you back. You know what I'm saying? It's some good stuff, man. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. So when we look over the NFL in general, the Dallas Cowboys, the sense of urgency is knocking at the door. How can we allow it to be entered? They're going to have to remove some of the things that they normally do and say, how close are we to winning it deep? What do we need to move to have that dynamic player? That when the ball touches his hand, he's going to take it to the house. Those are things that they're going to have to self-answer to themselves, ladies and gentlemen. Self-inventory. All right. D'Angelo Brown said the Chargers lady making those Chargers lose back-to-back games. Yeah, D'Angelo. Well, the networks, they're trying to create a storyline. The plot thickens. Chargers win, some unforeseeable thing happen, she'll be considered the GOAT. Chargers lose, that's a last moment. And I don't blame her. It's capitalistic society. On that head that she had the Buffalo Wild Wings hat. Who you think sponsored that?
Let me crack your cranium and fertilize your brain.
Yeah. Buffalo Wild Wings said, oh, let me take advantages of the situation. And I don't blame them. We're a capitalistic society. Yep. And if the game was a little bit closer, they'd have figured out something else for next week. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Now it's time for me to get your thoughts, your opinions of everything.
Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough.
Come on.
My way on this side. Keep it super thorough. My way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough. My way on this side. Keep it super thorough. My way on this side. Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real. Whether we East Coastin' or we in the
You are the only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. This is the line for your mind, the hotline. Yes, indeed. So the Dallas Cowboys heading into week 7. We will have some matchup talk on Wednesday. We will have, I believe, tomorrow the final word. I guess on the bye week, who won, who lost. I can't wait till tonight. We will talk about the 49ers as well as who the 49ers play tonight? The Vikings? Yeah, we'll look at some prize picks on that. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Banks, you're live on the Nation from the 757. Talk to us.
Law, what's going on? I'm the first caller. Oh, what's going on,
you up in there, man. You know, I got 4 callers on the line. They better fill on in, man, before I get tired. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, man. Look, man. It's been a few days, about a week or so since I called in, I think.
Yep.
But, look, man, I'm just, you know, I'm not one to beat the table. Oh, we need to go get somebody. We need to go get somebody and such and such. But I'm going to say this, and I usually don't do it, but we need to go get somebody, man. I would like to see us make a move before the trade deadline. There's nobody out there in free agency, you know, that I can see us bringing in that's going to, you know, make an impact right now. I mean, I know we picked up Evans. I mean, I do think he's a good addition, you know, for that linebacker room. But as far as when I mean a splash, signing somewhat of a splash, just go somebody that's, you know, is top notch.
In what spot? In what spot? In what position?
In one spot, yeah, one position that you know.
Well, Banks. I look at it like this. You got 2 sides of it, right? You got offense, defense. And you'll have to say to yourself, do a self-inventory, checks and balances, right? What can help this team ultimately now, plus what can help this team for the future? So if you're going to give up high draft capital, you got to be all in on that person for now and for the future. Exactly. That's how I look at it. I'm not finna give up a first and a second and say, all right, let me stash him, you know, or give up a first and a second and not knowing what to do with him if he don't fit well into this system. Let me ask you this, Banks.
Yeah.
On what side of this team do you feel that we are closer to being elite? Offense or defense?
I would say we got all our pieces. I feel like we got all. I mean, I like our running back room.
Right.
I mean, I like our wide receiver room. You know, we just gotta, you know, it's all about execution, man. So on that side of the ball, I like where we at you know, skill positions.
Okay.
I do. On defense, especially since the Diggs injury, I would like to see us get a cornerback, man. I would like to see Bland. Bland's been good. Bland's been great, actually. You know what I mean? Last week, you know, he did go against Keenan Allen. You know, he got took to school a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dropped a couple of INTs, but you know, it wasn't a bad game or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I like him outside. But I would like to see him more inside to show up all the positions. I'm not too much of a fan of Jordan Lewis right now, man. So based off of
your analysis here, you're thinking that we are closer to being elite on defense or getting to that area of being elite, and you want to better your best. Right now, trade deadline is like 9, maybe 8 days from here. You should dive deeper on defensive side. You know, bring a guy in that can help out the defense. And then, you know, just live on the hope aspect of the offense, that the offense can show the continuity with the offensive line. Dak Prescott can continue to scale and grow and get better than what he exhibited and exuded the first few weeks. And then from there, you know, everything else will work its way out.
Yeah.
So I'm with that belief too then. Build the defense. Let's go. Defense win championships.
Absolutely, Law. And real quick, I know, you know, people say, you know, go get Surtain, you know. I'm going to tell you 2 teams I was looking at the cornerbacks. Who Denver was one of them. I don't know how they're feeling now. They went and won. Kind of me as a fluke win, Denver won, and then the Patriots won. But I know Surtain, we'll have to give up at least we know a first-round pick, you know, obviously. I'm sure.
Yeah, you're going to have to give up a first.
Another guy I was looking at is Jack Jones
Patriots.
for New England.
Yeah.
For him.
He's an inside slot guy, you know. Yeah. You put him inside. He's a smaller guy. Scrappy, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Though. Yeah, he's scrappy. So, you know, that would have been the guy I would like to see, man. But, you know, man, we'll see what's going to happen. Honestly, I would like to see something. That's wishful, seeing us do something, you know, make a move. But it's also, if we don't, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm going to tell everybody else you should not be surprised.
Yes, you should be surprised.
Like our guys.
We like our guys, man. Appreciate you, Banks. Thank you for calling in. Somebody hit me up earlier this morning and said, hey, Law, what about Desmond King? You know, y'all know my stance. Bring me in a cup of coffee, you know what I'm saying? Bring them in for it, you know, and say, okay, let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can bring to the table. And that will be my thought track even with that kid. You know, he can give you special teams play. He can play on the defensive side and can be one of those guys that you can bring up to speed around, you know, week 8, week 9. And then he'll be in the Cowboys all the way team instead of being on the practice squad or what have you. So, but here's the thoughts, though. Cowboys, they don't like their guys. They love their guys. And they may be 1,000% true in feeling the willingness of feeling like, hey, Eric Scott can give us that. We believe in him. Let's do talent evaluation at 365, et cetera. But we love our guys. All right, I got Cowboys Dwayne and then MJ. But from the 817, Cowboys Dwayne, talk to me, man.
What's up? What's up, Law? How you doing?
Man,
Thanks for taking my call, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Well, the interviews you had with that you was replaying for Nate.
Yeah, Big Nate.
For Nate Newton. Yeah, I agree with him that you have to have some type of. Everyone has to be on the same page. I mean, you know, one player out for a couple of weeks and you bring in somebody else. You got to have that constant being able to play with each other because the left guard gonna know what the right guard gonna do. I mean, you know, you gotta be able to fit. How can I put this? You gotta be able to feel each other. It's like going on a date. It's like being with your girl. You got to know what she like, what she don't like. If you don't know what she like or don't like, it's going to be problems.
Yeah. If she allergic to seafood, you don't take her to the seafood restaurant, you know?
I mean, you got to know what somebody's tendencies is in order for you to be able to play up to your, you know, expectations and expect what is supposed to be done on the line.
True.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good.
And on this trade, that Dallas is not going to trade. ain't gonna get nobody in the trading line. Only time it happened, it was because of a necessity when we got Cooper. Yeah. We didn't have nobody in the receiving corps, so it was pushed to come to shove. But 9 out of 10, Dallas is not going to do anything by the trade deadline. That's just something they don't do. They'll wait till the season's over with and get somebody cheap and try to plug and play. But Dallas is not going to just.
And that comes from that comes from culture, though. It comes from the mindset, because if let's say if Jerry Jones had a GM named Jerry Johnson, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not Jimmy Johnson, but Jerry Johnson, like Jerry Thomas or somebody. You know, Jerry Jones would be applying the pressure to him right now. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, "Hey, now you mean to tell me that you spend $60 million for this wide receiver and he can't catch a cold right now? You know, and you mean to tell me, you know, that you drafted this guy, that guy, and you got him on the bench? He was a second-round draft pick. Why you can't get him out there on the field?" And his name's Sam Williams, right? So the pressure will be applied, and then the GM also hires the coaching, you know what I'm saying, or in agreements with the coaching. So now you're talking about feet to the fire. So what that dude, Jerry Thomas, would do is he'll be staying up all night on the phone talking about, "Hey, Ravens, hey, I know you got this guy on your squad," or, "Hey, Bills, man, I know you got that guy on your squad." He will be staying up all night trying to get some deals going, you know.
Yeah, but you know the old philosophy in the Cowboy Nation. Hey, you know, we gonna go with our guy, but sometimes we hold on to people just a little too long than when we supposed to.
Right. True.
And then we don't get nothing when we do get rid of them. We don't get anything compensation for letting them go, or we just let them go scot free and don't get anything in return.
Yeah.
And you know it's just, if I had to choose for a pick, this gonna be not everybody is gonna think like this.
Right.
But for me to solidify if a trade, I would get a offensive lineman, preferably on the left side, because I like Smith, but I don't know. I can't depend on him.
You heard that interview that I played? You played earlier with Nate Newton?
Yeah.
He talked about that. He talked real good about it. And he said, you're not going to get anybody special now unless you burn a first-round draft pick to get like a younger Trent Williams type, you know.
Right.
And so the Cowboys, so you might as well say offensive line, because he said what you don't want to do is trade for another TJ Bass or trade for another backup guy that's going to have to develop and these sorts of things, and may not even be better than Austin Richards, or may not be better than whoever else we got on the back end, you see. So I see what you're saying is that what he's ultimately saying with this offensive line, and I agree with him, is that the only issue is timing. Is that Mike Solari haven't had his hands on these guys long enough. So that's why the Jones family, and that's probably Nate Newton give us inside information on the fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying like they not really gonna go for anybody trading in this particular trade deadline for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but you gotta look towards the future too, because no franchise is gonna. You gotta look forward. You can't keep looking back.
True.
I mean, you know, he did for the Cowboys, and I don't knock him for that.
True.
But after a while, them tires start getting wore out. You know.
Yeah.
Engine started looking a little funny. And check engine light, come on. So now that means you got to look for something else new or better than what you had before. No knock to it. No knock to Smith. I love Smith, but if you're gonna try to make money and try to advance in this team, and it's NFL, you're gonna always have to stay one step ahead.
You're gonna have
That's
to.
all I'm saying.
Well, man, you spitting the truth, man, and I believe everybody agree with you in the chat. I don't think nobody disagree with you on that point. Appreciate you, man. Anything else you got before I let you rock?
Oh, no, I just appreciate your service to Cowboy Nation and keep doing what you do. Let's go, boy.
Let's go, man. Sure. Yes, indeed. I still count this bye week as a win for us, you know. I count it as a win, you know. Hey, it'll really be a cherry on the top if the 49ers, you know, I know Twin Maker, he my brother from the same mother, and we love him, you know. But, hey, it'll be good if we can see those Vikings just do something good tonight, you know? Yes, indeed. Outside of that, you know, you got to be one step ahead. The Cowboys, I believe, in the scouting department, they can scout players up pretty well. It shows that they be steps ahead in this particular drafting room, especially with DeRon Bland, especially with some of the guys that we look back on this team as it relates to Terrence Steele and beyond. But shoot, if you really want to be really steps ahead, you dive into this trade pool, right? And you get busy. You get a little bit more busy in the free agency period and never get satisfied. Yes, William Bailey, we do need depths. We do. But at the degree that what Big Nate was saying, if you're going to trade for a guy on the offensive line and get somebody that's going to be better, a little bit better than TJ Bash or a little bit better than who we got right now that's on the bench, Awesome Richards, you're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to give up a first or a second or third or something like that, and the Cowboys not willing to do that. No. Unfortunately. I got my guy from the 206. You in the mix. MJ, talk to me.
What up, Law?
All is well, bro. Talk to me.
Well, I got to keep it real with the fans. Let me jump right to that. To all the Cowboy fans, if you're listening, every lineman out there in the NFL is not that good on all them teams.
True.
You is not draft. You're not trading. And I'm gonna give you a quick. Bad could play center, and he played good at guard, at both guards.
Yeah, both.
And he played tackle in college. True. So Bad's gonna get good. You got a good pick. He's better than most all the people play right now. At Bad's, I know them teams like, dang, why the Cowboys do this? Bad's will be starting for somebody right now.
Yeah, and you heard that interview. You heard how Big Nate he didn't put him in front of the bus, but he kind of put him like there on the curb a little bit about Zach Martin holding out and these sorts of things. Not saying that Zach Martin is trash or anything, but he said that kind of hurt the psyche of the team as far as the coaching philosophy of what Solari was trying to put out there. That's all I'm saying when you have new installments, you know. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead. You know, I remember you touched on that a little bit earlier this year. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen him in college play. And he played them more. And let me get, he played y'all favorite team. I want everybody to go watch Oregon against Georgia and watch our bands play. That's one. Yeah. The guys to play. So this is first year. And once you get them reps, that was Nate News trying to tell y'all about more than all them. They haven't played together. So that's why they all out of key.
True.
And then the kid, Richardson, he played good in college. He played 4 years. So he's
awesome.
Already And he really supposed to play in front of 71, but for some reason they didn't want to put him out there. But they should have.
Talking about Chuma. Yeah, Chuma Edoga. Yeah. But Edoga for what is given, you know. I liked him good. I like him good when he was inside the guard spot. Yeah, you know, it took us a few games for him to get his feet right at tackle, but those are all things that keep us kind of like swaying because when Tyron Smith was coming back, Tyron Smith, although he's good at what he do, but Tyron Smith at times we were looking like, hey, what's that? So my biggest thing right here has been this will be his third game right now, heading into L.A. Rams. But the good thing is this will be his fourth week back because of the bye. So if we can get a piece of the old Tyron Smith, and I know it's wishful thinking, bro, we'll be good.
He didn't play bad in that last game.
No, he didn't play bad.
No, he didn't play bad.
But he
didn't.
No,
don't say him. He gave her one sack, but it was a surprise sack. He had the guy, and that ran right into where he was at. You know, linemen get pushed back sometimes. You know, his first game back. So he played really good. You know, he didn't play that bad. You know, like you say, this game, he should be better.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah.
The only pick that makes sense for the Cowboys, Cowboy Nation. At first I wasn't thinking, but it do make sense because this is third year. It's the Denver guy. If you want the pick, you got to do it now.
Which one?
The first round, the corner for Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody want him because he's still young. He played with Diggs. That should be your future corner. Now you ain't got to draft corner. You always going to draft corner. But now you got your starting corner. You're going to make the pick so you can put Bland back inside. Them between 24, 30, and 14, they balling. Now your safeties is set. You put that kid at the corner, Bland back inside. It's going to have 21. Now your defense, because I could tell you, for real, I didn't thought it was going to happen, but the Diggs injury helped hurt our defense because it was like a Deion Sanders. I see now. He was like taking one side of the field away, and they was killing everybody. That's why they was killing everybody.
No doubt, man. I feel you on that. That's us wishful thinking.
Yeah,
that's the only thing, bro. The only time the Cowboys would make that pick if we was 2-4. Then they would be like, if we were 2-4 right now, the Cowboys would be heavy on the trade pool stuff. But right now, since we're 4-2, the Cowboys are optimistic and they may do a Zach Ertz or they may do some unknown guy.
Them two veteran coaches. Let me say to all you Cowboy fans. Them two veteran coaches. For New England and Denver, in their eyes, you could make the playoff with an 8-9 record, or a 7-9 record, or 7-10, or you might make a playoff with a 9-8 record. They say, forget this. You think they're gonna give away their good players for us? That means you're gonna have to give up a first and a 3.
Yeah.
And if y'all Cowboys, how many picks we'll have next year? That means we'll only have the second pick and the 4th round pick in the 7th. That's it.
Right.
3 picks. So Cowboy fans, if you want to do all that, let's do it then. I don't want no crybaby. You know what I'm saying, Law? If we don't do nothing, and I don't want nobody to come in here next year, oh, man, we give them all up. No, shut up.
No doubt, man. And closing, man.
And closing. And then closing, Law, what I want to say, Philadelphia, I know y'all might be on there. Y'all are the luckiest team. Because how you notice, Law, everybody corners is hurt when they play Philly. It's oh my God, the whole Miami, all them corners are gonna be ready when they play us because it's later in the year.
No doubt,
all
man.
their corners was not even there. All the Philly, the Jets corner wasn't there. Everybody corners is hurt when they play Philly.
No doubt.
Oh my God.
Appreciate you for calling in.
All the calls. And how about them Cowboys? And let's go.
Let's go. That's MJ right there, y'all. That's MJ. Thank him for calling in. Let me see. You think Tristan Wirth may be up for grabs? No. That team right there is still winning. Did the Bucks won this weekend? So they ain't finna fire sale right now and get hit with a bad situation. Defense lead the teams. I agree. Add a cornerback so the pass rushers can get back to business. Yeah, I mean, that would be the ideal. I do like the article from Blocking the Boys. Shout out to R.J. Ochoa about Jalen Johnson, physical outside corner that will fit right on in, and then he'll be a futures guy too, Sometimes, man, we be talking about these things, and it be too good to be true. We can be having the best ideals, but the Jones family, they ain't finna make no movement at all, man. I got the Anonymous, man. You're live on The Nation. Talk to me.
Hey, what's up, Law? This is Blue from Arlington.
Blue, man, what's good, man? I call you Anonymous because your name or number on here just say Anonymous, man. You calling me from a private line, but talk to me. What's on your mind?
I always wondered, why doesn't the Cowboys always make that? I know they don't really do blockbuster trades, but if you think you close this particular year, why not make a trade that's going to have a dynamic impact on the team that you could actually use right now? I mean, there's a lot of teams out there willing to trade these players. It seems like when it does come to trading for them, if they do end up trading him to the Cowboys, the price is always higher than it would be for another team.
Right.
But that still shouldn't discourage you from trying to actively seek and make a trade that would improve the team right now.
The best trades in the NFL normally come by element of surprise. You see it one day, they having the negotiations, and then boom, it's done. It's over with. The Cowboys have a weird way of talking about the trade and overanalyzing the trade, right? And over-talking the trade. And I believe that there's such a thing that you can talk your way out of it, right? Do you believe that? You you see a nice cutie, you're talking to her, and then sometimes you just talk too much, and then she's like, no, I'm not interested anymore. And she was already into you, you know? And I think the Cowboys have that type of an effect, because it's been happening too often. You know, Brandon Cook's supposed to have been here last year, right? But we talked so much about it that it never manifested, and it never happened, or what have you, or materialized is a better way to say it. And we can go on and on about the Earl Thomases of the world. There was a short stay with DK Metcalf being traded here. There's so many things that we kind of overanalyze. Now the new storyline is the Patrick Surtain. Like we talk about it so much that you can just book it and say, hey, that's not about to happen. You know, no way. I mean, you know.
Dallas been talking themselves out a lot of cuties in, man.
Yeah, man. Putting too much cologne on, man. It's one spray, man. Front, back, man. You good, man. You putting the Giorgio Armani on like it's gonna go off. You know what I'm saying? Like this the last. Like you got an infinite amount of supplies, man. You know, it's just what it is. Oh,
could you imagine going forward if they were able to pull that Surtain trade off and pair him with Diggs, because we know a certain cornerback that we have right now, a couple of them, not probably going to be with the team next year.
True.
So why not go ahead and pull that trigger right now?
I would give them a first and a second. Yeah, and be done with it. Lean on faith.
I mean, that'll sure you up for the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years at least.
Right.
And you have two dynamic cornerbacks right now. And then going up against A.J. Brown and all these other receivers in the NFC, we'll have a better tandem, you know what I'm saying, to be able to compete with them on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to what we're putting out there on the field right now. Because other than Bland, we don't have another capable cornerback on the team. It just don't seem like we do. I don't like Lewis at all, man. Every time I look at Lewis, he's either trailing behind somebody or 5 yards away. It's like he don't know how to read no route concept or whatever, something that he practiced every day. And it just irks me every time I look. Even those plays where you got a receiver going across the formation, he's always 3 to 5 yards behind, like he's waiting on Christmas or something.
Yeah, he's a guy that, you know, when he do make a splash play, you know, we're gonna award him. You know, it's just gonna be what it is. He's a drafted guy. Cowboys love their drafted players, right? So I'm not saying that we can't get better at that spot, but 9 times out of 10, the Cowboys value their draft picks. They value their drafted players. And if he was a guy that was traded here, then he'd probably be gone. If he was a guy they picked up off the free agency list, then he'd probably be gone. But since they drafted him, he's going to be here for a stay. But I don't foresee him being here next season, nor Nashawn Wright, nor some of these guys that's been here for a minute, if they don't fool around and make more and more plays. So why not, go ahead and go all in? But the Cowboys normally don't do that.
They're just wasting roster spaces right now. But the last thing I want to touch upon, y'all said it during y'all roundtable talk.
Mm-hmm.
Have anybody ever questioned Mike McCarthy or Jerry Jones on why does the contract dictate playing time, especially when a player is not playing good? And I'm not counting nobody's chickens. I ain't worried about nobody's pocket.
Right.
But why does that dictate playing time when a player is obviously not playing good? You got more hungrier players behind him, and why not try something different instead of keep going to the same player that's not actively doing anything to positively impact the team? You know what I mean? And I know y'all was talking about Gallup the other day. Like, that's crazy. How many chances can you get to make that big catch? And Jerry Jones paying his players. Imagine you making that big, gigantic catch down there in the end zone and what that impact could have done down the road for you.
I said it earlier, as above, so below, or the fish rots from the head down. And if I'm the owner and GM of the team, I'm ultimately in control of how many snaps and who out there playing X, Y, and Z, right? So if I'm paying, and people don't understand, this is how it goes, unfortunately. If I'm paying $56 million, $60 million, or what have you, I'm first and foremost, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling the coach. Why is this dude not out there on the field? Now, why my money is sitting on the sideline? I need to recoup my money. I need for that guy to be making plays. I need for him to be catching touchdowns. I get a percentage of those jerseys being sold. I need to not look like a fool because I the one made that particular movement to pay said person. Regardless across the board, that's just how it goes. Now, in Cowboys land, unfortunately, we have that structure, right? But if it was somebody else, it'll be sweat. It'll be sweat coming from the owner to the general manager. Why did you pay that $50-something million for that player? Or why did you use a second-round draft pick for that guy? If he ain't being used, then use him for trade value and get him up out of here so I can get somebody else in that spot. If not, then you'll be looking for a house somewhere outside of Dallas. You see, that's how it's supposed to be.
I'm telling you. Like Biadasz, she's been here 3 years too long. We talking about if there's a Belichick coaching this team, prime Belichick. Belichick don't care about no players. He would have got rid of that dude so quick. Gallup would have been gone. There's some players on his team right now. I'm tiring. When Tyron trade value would have hired, he would have been gone for some draft picks or a couple players. I'm telling you, they would have been done trading.
Oh yeah.
But this team right here, we hold on to players way too long, well past the contract value, if you would. We just hold on them too long, and I don't know if that's, taking care of the players that we drafted or what, but that's crazy.
Yes, indeed, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your calling in and these sorts of things. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, good.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, we got a super chat. Appreciate the soups. Thank y'all so much. He says we should bring in big Leonard Fournette. He's sitting at home. It will cost us minimum. We need a power back. He has playoff and Super Bowl experience. It will rub off on the entire team. Now, there's things that this team do beyond that, and I think that this team also would take heed to the leaders of this team. And I think, in my opinion, this is just me looking at it from outside looking in. I think that they protect their players, and you're supposed to do this too. But the Cowboys will protect the cultural part of it, and they probably would not bring in big Leonard Fournette because of his spat with Michael Parsons. Them two boys are going back and forth, and they do not want to disrupt the chemistry of this team in that light. So I don't think that's the reason why. To add in to the fact that other teams are not looking at Leonard Fournette is the reason why they would not bring him in. There's a thing that I want you guys to look up. It's called the Jones effect. Most people don't want something until someone else have it, right? Don't want something until someone else's desire, Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. You may live in a certain neighborhood and your neighbors would do the same thing. They call it the Jones effect. You get your yard cut on Tuesday, hey, they get their yard start cutting on Tuesdays. You see what I'm saying? You start having a tailor-made service as far as your yard and everything. You see your neighbor run across the street, hey, man, how much he charge? You know what I'm saying? Can he cut my yard? Jones effect. How much you paid for their lights? Christmas lights coming up now. I paid X, Y, and Z. Oh, I need to get that same company to come over and put my lights up. The Jones effect is a real thing. And a lot of times people don't want it until they see you with it. So when they start having this news and cyclings about, hey, Leonard Fournette has been brought into the Cowboys, shoot, watch how many teams jump on him. All right, yes, indeed. So I appreciate y'all, man, for y'all support here I got Coach Marv for the super chat. He says, Law, I inboxed you something on Twitter 33.45 minutes ago. Okay. All right. I'm going to check that timestamp out. Speaking of that, I got Corey from the 443. Is this you?
Yeah, it's Corey.
Yeah, appreciate you, Corey.
How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing well, man. Talk to me, man.
All right. I saw that round table you had.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset. Now, you watch Marvel, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Jerry Jones during this break, I would have been taking that bomb like Blade did and put it on the back of McCarthy's head.
Yeah.
And tell him, look, CD is going on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Gallup's going on the inside. We're going to make a trade for Renfro. Because I didn't pay for Brandon Cooks and
Right.
CD not to be getting targets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then, like you said, make a play for Renfro.
Oh yeah,
He's just sitting
Hunter
there, Raiders.
Renfro. Yeah, Hunter Renfro. Yeah, you talking about him? I mean,
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
yeah.
That's that. Hey, before we had who was that dude that Dak had? The Giants just got rid of him and went to Buffalo.
Giants got.
And we had from SMU.
Are you talking about Cole Beasley?
Yeah, Beasley. Hey, he was better than Beasley.
Oh yeah,
Look what Dak did with him.
Yeah. Hunter is
Look what Dak did with him.
yeah is nice.
You know? And then I was hearing what y'all was saying last night. Yeah, they were talking about Judy. They were talking about Southern. Well, we messed up when we didn't go after Chase Claypool. That was a big body wide receiver.
He got
He
out
was
there to
sitting
do
there, and now the
something.
Dolphins got him.
He did some stretch plays out there. He wasn't usable last night. But you see how, you know, when you are close, when you're feeling like you're close, you make those movements. I'm not saying that, you know, Chase will be a guy that can change it over for us, but I'm for sure if we are close enough, like a Mike Evans, if he's in the mix, like a Devontae
Yeah, but if
Adams,
Mike Evans is in the mix, you know you're going to have to give up the second or the third round, and you know you don't want to do that. I don't know why we don't give up our second round picks.
Let me ask you
we
this,
always
though.
give up on
Do the Eagles win last night without A.J. Brown?
Yeah, they used him like crazy.
That guy.
5 catches, 125.
I think it's disrespectful for the NFL not to bring him up as MVP. I think that dude is a beast over there, and I'm hyping him up, y'all. You know, don't shank me with the butter knife, because you only have hate in your heart if you think that A.J. Brown is a slouch or a scrub or anything of that nature. He's a catalyst for that particular team. They didn't sit back. They didn't sit back and say, all right, let's try to focus on something else. Since he had his little scruff with the quarterback or what have you, they made it necessary to target that man. He was targeted 15 times last night. He caught the ball for 10 receptions and had over 130 yards, I think, in the last 3 games or 4 games. He's on a tear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he put the fear on those smaller DBs, and then he put the fear on some of those smaller safeties. And it forced the teams to play them in a certain way. And the moment they start doubling him, the offensive coordinator said, all right, we'll just run to the opposite side with DeAndre Swift. So you're going to have only way you're going to beat them is you're going to have to punch Hurts when it matters. You're going to have to continue to put pressure on him and hit him. But go ahead.
I understand that. But do you actually think CD is going to get in Dak's face and be like, yo, Dak, get me the damn ball like Keyshawn? Do you think CD really has that in him?
Look. Here's the flip side of it, and it's a twofold situation. CD don't have the $100 million on him. You know, A.J. Brown done got paid $100 million. They spent draft capital to get him, right? He wasn't freely. The Cowboys haven't paid $100 million for CD yet, and CD is not that type of person from a vocal point to be able to move his weight around like that right now. You see? So, and he don't have that ultimate confidence. If the Cowboys loved him the way that they expressed that they loved him, you know what I'm saying, that they say, then he would have got paid before Trayvon Diggs. But the Cowboys value Trayvon Diggs' tenacity and mindset a little bit over CD Lamb, in my opinion. You know, of course, he had the fifth-year option and beyond, and they could be right now, the contract right now. But right now, CD is day-to-day. He's day-to-day.
Right. Yes, yep. You're right on that one.
Hell yeah, sure. I'll be looking at this thing like, if I had CD on this team, I'll be crafting up 15 to 10 targets mandatory, minimum. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else ancillary, right? That's what I'll be doing, you know.
And I got one last point for you.
Talk to me.
Nobody really said about linebacker. Would you make a trade for a linebacker? Would you talk to Dan Quinn and be like, which one of your Atlanta boys would be good for this, you know? I know we got Rashad Evans, but he's trying to get up to speed. Well, would you make a, shut Van Der Esch down for the rest of the season and look at linebacker?
From a sense of urgency aspect, the Cowboys got to see at first what they gonna have out of Evans before they pull the trigger. Remember, they with the mindset of we buy low, sell high, right? So they still in that phase. So to them, their evaluation, they trust their scouting department. They may be looking at Rashaan Evans as, hey, he's a former first-round draft pick, etc. He's going to bring these type of levels and hopes to us. He's going to give us J-Ron Kurtz type of abilities. Our scouting department scooped up a good steal. So they leaning on that. They're not looking at linebackers right now. They're not.
Okay.
Appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you, my man.
Hey, man, anytime. Corey, thank you for watching the round table as well. We appreciate that.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
No doubt, man. That's Corey. Let me let JT on, Coach Marv, and then we will circle back to that super chat. So, and then I got JT, I got Coach Marv, Patrick, not Mahomes in the house, and then we will circle around to the super chats. Let's go. I got JT. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Can you hear me, Law?
Hey, man. Yeah, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
So I got a question for you, man. Like, what's up with people on like their lies, though, Law? Like, 'cause people are just lying now, Law. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So let me explain what I mean. So
okay,
I've been hearing a lot of people just continue to just shred our football team and just say we're just like this hella flawed team that just can't do anything against good teams. Like, why we gotta keep on lying, Law? Like, that's just not true.
Right. It's moving the goalpost, though. You know, the Chargers not a good team now, right? But when we played them, before we played them, they were a great team, right? But after we played them, they were not a good team, And the same could be said about the Jets or what have you. And I look back, I can hear the argument, whereas the Lions were considered the media darlings, right? And then somebody pulled up the resume and said, hey, who the Lions actually beat outside of a Travis Kelce less team week one, because he was hurt. And then people started saying, oh, this is who they are. 38, what's the final score? 38-6? Was that the final score? Something like that? Or 30? The Lions versus the Ravens. What was the final score?
Oh, yeah. Golly, that was
it was terrible.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was terrible, right? And then the Dolphins, right? They were, the argument was that who did they play? They didn't play anybody. Lord Brunson brought that up. He said they didn't play anybody. And then last night, right before I can get the tweet out, I'm about to text Lord Brunson and say, hey, man, I know you sweating. I know you at the edge of your seat, when Jalen Hurts threw that pick six. He did. But they end up from the actuality of the last score, 31-17, you would consider that as a blowout. But in actuality, I know that the Eagles fans were sweating just a little bit. They wasn't walking around talking about, hey, they done beat and blow the doors off from the Dolphins. Yeah. But before that time frame, the argument from the Eagle guy, I think Lord Brunson is the leading community leader of all Eagle fans right now, right? He was saying that the Dolphins didn't play anybody. But it was kind of strange that it was 17-17. And it took a few things to happen for them to win that game. But that's a whole other story. But talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm actually glad you brought up those two things because that's actually something I wanted to touch on too. Like, at what point are we going to address the elephant in the room in Philadelphia? Like, Jalen Hurts has regrets, Law. Like, I think we can all see it. Like, he is not playing well whatsoever. He already has 11 turnovers.
Wow.
Like, that is not good. Like, and this is going to be the problem I'm going to have later in the season because I can already see it coming. Like, they're not going to actually acknowledge the turnovers. Like, he's on pace to have more turnovers than what Dak had last year. But at the end of the season, they're not going to say anything. Like, they'll slip it in and say, look, you just have a bad year and all that. Like, but, the talk of the town everywhere, even in our fan base, we now have this what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the scarlet letter that's all of a sudden stuck to Dak, that like he's just a turnover-prone quarterback when that's literally not what he's been. He just had the one bad year. But you know what I'm saying, right, Law?
Yeah, I'm following every word that you're saying. But here's the rebuttal that they're going to say. The 3-letter, the 4-letter networks, I haven't even heard their rebuttal yet, but they're going to say that team, that Jalen Hurts took their team to the NFC Championship. On top of that, they won that game and they went to the Super Bowl. Although they lost, he made it further than Dak Prescott ever been. So how dare, you guys from the Cowboys community want us to ridicule and sully Jalen Hurts when we look back at all of those things, yeah, the team took them there. You know what I'm saying? But they would never see it in that fashion, right? They would never see it in that way. So that's why I say, man, just be real. Let's be real. That doggone A.J. Brown's having a hell of a year, man. He is, man. He's a monster. I can't take that away from him. And you will see it out there on the field. Like, hey, some of those passes, you will say, hey. But he figured out a way to get that ball and corral it and bring it to his body and keep it moving,
Right. So, and one other thing, well, actually, and you brought up the Chiefs also. Like,
right.
I find it interesting. I find it interesting because we literally faced the same team that the Chiefs just played yesterday.
Right.
And if you really look at that game, like, the Chiefs, people have said that the Chiefs defense is good. I don't buy it. Like, they were getting absolutely cooked. Like, that first half, they weren't doing anything. But the narrative now is that the Chiefs beat a very talented Chargers team, and I'm like, wait.
The Chargers got good when they played the Chiefs, yeah.
I think this is the funny part. So I actually heard, like, somebody say, I can't remember who said it, but they said, like, look, the Chiefs found a way to beat a very talented Chargers team. I'm like, I mean, did, like, 6 guys get injured, like, from one week to the other? Like, it is basically the same team, isn't it, Love?
Yeah. But you know how ironic that, both teams, finished the score 31-17, But that was the final score, right?
Yeah, the score was 31-17. Like, it just... Well, I will say this, like, this is something that even Micah Parsons is now starting to bring up, like, because obviously we know the bias, like, we know the goalpost moving, the excuse making, like, we get it, like, it's just. It's about time that, like, one of our guys actually spoke up and said, look, man, this just ain't right. Like, just call it down the middle. Like, stop the goalpost moving.
Yeah, they're not going to do that, though. And now Parsons is going to have even more of a target on his back. I remember, I'm old enough to remember, right when D-Law was considered a great edge rusher and getting to quarterbacks, that the Cowboys played 16 straight games without a defensive or like without offensive holding. You know what I'm saying? And we were sitting there, and he got fed up and he got frustrated about it. He spoke out in the media. You know, he got his lashings about X, Y, and Z things. But those are things that even if you look back at that game, last game that we played, Cowboys versus Chargers, you see push in the back, you see holding calls, and those are the calls that really hurts us even more, the ones that's not even called. Like when they holding Parsons, when they holding D-Law, when they holding the guys on the line, and then when we call them out as fans, we just cry babies, right? But that's unfortunately, man. You know, all I want is a game to be called fairly, and we would never get it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro.
Did you?
Go ahead.
One more thing.
You go.
Law, you still here?
I'm still here. Still, one more thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, one more point. My fault. But the one thing you said about the whole penalty thing, like I found it funny. Like the Eagles literally had no accepted or like penalties that were picked up or anything like that. But I saw Bradbury on that fourth down literally yank Wilson's face mask and turn it sideways. And I don't know first of all, how do you miss something like that? Like face mask. When you see this, obviously when you see a face mask that's pulled, he literally obviously he was trying to defend the pass. But he had the face mask and yanked it to the point where dude fell down. Yeah. 0 penalties long, in 60 minutes. That's not possible.
Man, hey, whoever cooking the books over there, man, I just want to know who he is so we can hire him. You know, the fixer. Appreciate you, man, JT. Thank you, man. No doubt, man. Hey, I can't make this stuff up, man. And I know, there will be more people saying, if we point out the obvious, right, there'll be more people saying, here's just Cowboy fans crying and whining about it. And if it happened for them, then they wouldn't say anything. But these are truths, man. These are things that we wish. Like I wish we can get just one of these calls, man. You know what I'm saying? To happen, on us on the opposing side. This dude down at the bottom, he getting held for life. He's getting. I'll keep holding on. Yes, indeed, man. That dude, what my thief?
Thief! Stop, thief! Come back, thief!
I mean, even if you're a diehard Eagle fan, I just want you to keep it 100. Be like, yeah, man, woo, man. Man, the ref was on the outside tonight. Man, I would respect you just a little bit more. Because I would say it, if the Cowboys come out with a win and we seen it that way, that lopsided, I would be live and be like, man, woo, man, boy. Hey, that dude put the two-hand touch on Dak Prescott and they call roughing the passer, man. Hey, man, I don't know what referee crew that is, but I would love to have them for the rest of my life, I would literally just own up to that. But the Eagles fans would see that and say, man, no, we just won fair and square. Hey, we beat that team. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have none. Hey, man, that wasn't a face mask, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that wasn't a hole. That wasn't a late hit. They would go to their graves, and then they'll brag about it and tell everybody, hey, man, hey, we won. We won fair and square. Y'all, I had a dude, he a content creator. And I said, this is what I said. Hold on. And here you go right here. I said, a commendable victory for the Eagles tonight. The Dolphins can view this game as a valuable learning experience. Nevertheless, there should be discussions regarding the excessive influence of the officials of that match. Overall, win is a win for the Eagles. And I talk glowingly of the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? And then this guy right here, Joe Castro, he says they refuse to give us credit. Shaking my head. This is a funny post. He overlooked the things that I acknowledge as good for them. And he only looked at the things that I said that was true. Y'all acting like I was lying to kick it. He was acting like I was telling them that the Eagles only won because of the aficionados. No, they won. But we got to acknowledge 10 penalties opposed to 0. When you can literally call a holding call on every single play. Y'all go read that response. It's getting very good tractions over there. I got Coach Marv live on the Nation, man, from the 803. You're live. Talk to me.
That was a very interesting thing, Law. I looked at I was watching the game last night, and I found out, I said, dog, man, they ain't got but one penalty. Well, they had one penalty, and both teams were offside on that tush push. Yeah. That was the only penalty they got. Yeah. But, there's some very interesting things I bought about that game. I got that one, the game would have been a lot different if Tyreek Hill wouldn't have dropped that touchdown pass going across the middle. Yeah. But the Philadelphia played a very good game. They had a good game plan of keeping things in front of them and not trying to let big plays happen. True. And that's what you do with Miami. And they made them, when Miami started running the ball a little bit more better in the second half, the offense started to get cooking, and then that face mask and that drop touchdown, and then Philadelphia did one other thing. The following is a production of Dallas. Possession. They dominated time possession, which is limited. If you got a high-powered offense like that and you stop big plays, then you can control their scoring. You won't get into so that was a smart thing, and they didn't do it by time possession by running the ball per se. Yeah. But Philadelphia really take every last second off the play clock when they snap the ball. It'd be at almost one before they snap the ball, and they're very deliberate in their offense. Yeah. So, but that's their team. I watched that because I just watch football. Yeah. And you just want to see teams of how things going. Yeah, and then you got to face those two teams down the line. So it's good to just do some some self scouting. But there was another play. I know that Tyreek Hill had a touchdown drop, right? If he'd have had that one, and then he had a penalty to wipe away a touchdown. And that changed the momentum of a game. And then he had another play, because I was watching him closely. I would have been $600 richer if they didn't call this flag. He caught a tunnel screen, right? And he got up the field about 15, 16 yards. And when he went out of bounds, then there was a flag. I think that play was a drive killer more so than, believe it or not, even the drop touchdown that he had, So, these flags, man, we can call holding on every play, but what we want to see this game be is a game that is equally called, right? That's all I'm saying. Right. And see, that tells you, one thing that tells you, Law, and I'll say this. So when we start looking at our offense and we start looking at our play, as I've been trying to tell a lot of my friends, Cowboys, we talk about players. Yes, we need this and that, but we have had a lot of penalties that's stricken down our offense. And you have a lot of penalties, man. Penalties and turnovers is almost like a short circuit to an engine. It makes it misfire. You go in and then they get that crucial penalty, or you get that turnover that slows the momentum down. Football is a game of momentum. Mm-hmm. But Law, I sent you in your Twitter box. It was a show on the Dallas Cup, I think, Star Talk, where Nate Newton was on there talking with and answering questions from the phone callers. Okay. And it justifies what I was saying last week about the offensive line. I know a lot of people talk about the offensive line, but he was asking about what this offensive line needs and how can it fix. Yeah. And the first word that he came out of his mouth was, "We're not a physical offensive line." Man. And he went into justifications about, yes, and I understand about, and he talked about Tyron. He talked about Tyron, that the time is on him. And he talked about the injuries of our offensive line with Zach Martin with some leg injuries. And the person I thought that had the worst game of against the Chargers was our center, which he had a very bad game as well.
and then with Steele, he said our offensive line and then that made me think about when I talked about you last week, and I said, man, it seemed like it was a lot cleaner when we had some younger guys in there.
True.
Well, it might have been a little cleaner because one thing about younger guys, they don't have lifelong injuries. They ain't long in the tooth.
Right.
And one thing they are, if they physical, they got that extra push. They got that extra nasty that we need. And it goes back to what I said. This offensive line, the play calling, and we can talk about that, this and that, but it's going to behoove to this offensive line if we're going to get that nasty back, and can we do have that nasty to be able to be efficient, because that's what's going. If we don't have that nasty, we're going to have ourselves getting some holding calls. We're going to have ourselves getting some things because we're not got that tenacity. But that starts at he talked about it all during the whole show because he had some great questions. But he's talked about it specifically early in that show about the continuity. But at the 33 minutes, that one of the guys asked a very pointed question, and he was dead serious about his answer about the offensive line.
Man,
and
no doubt.
We see the same thing I see, and I heard a lot of people talk. But I've seen what I see. My evaluation is not about the play calling. It's just about the mentality and nasty.
Well, we got to bring that up, man. And we at the midway point, close to it, and we're right at it. And I do like the aspect of him saying you can't help this via the trade right now, unless you're gonna give up some real good premium picks.
One thing you got to get healthy. And I believe his thing about Tyler Biadasz. Tyler Biadasz is a C+ center, and if he and healthy, he is a good C+ guy.
Yeah.
But with leg injuries, he's a C- D guy.
Yeah.
So you can't with guys like that. And then we got some, Zach Martin is not. Sometimes when you get older. Sometimes you still got that technique, you still got that know-how, but you don't have that finishing ability.
No doubt.
And Tyron doesn't have that finishing ability on a constant week in and week out basis.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest difference between us and Philly right now, because Philly, if they need 2 yards, or they need 3 yards, or if they need 4 yards, they got the guys up there that's going to be nasty enough to get those 2 or 3 yards. And I always said, it's not about the big bruising running back. It goes hand in hand.
Right.
I think we got to have a little more nasty, and I believe the running backs we got on this team where we will be saying, wow, we got a good stable, and they can do the things, but we got to get a little bit more nasty, because I don't think our running backs are no worse than Philly running back.
Right. But you can look at Kenneth Gainwell and say that him and Pollard probably be like a step ahead of him right now. And if you look at Swift, he is a better running back than what we can have right now because he's not hurt or injured, right? He's a healthy guy. So he brings that element of surprise to that team. And what they do from an offensive aspect of it, they got unbelievable confidence. Like the coach said, hey, he don't believe 1st and 10. Not in his world. Not on the Eagles' world. It's 1st and 9 for them. Because if it's 1 yard, they for damn sure they're going to say, Coach, they got it. There's no if and a but about it. They're going to brotherly shove it, and they're going to get it, and they're going to shove it right in your face. And then what they did against the Dolphins is it was a war of the down inside trenches. And their trench warfare was better than theirs on both sides of the ball.
But, I'll say right quick.
Talk to me.
Miami did a good job of stopping the run other than the tush push. But when it got down to the point of, you said, A.J. Brown, big plays. But Philly has a thing where they're looking to get big plays. But if Miami would have converted on those things where they dropped the ball or those penalties here and there.
Yeah.
Would have put a little bit, if you pulled up on their bumper in the 3rd, 4th quarter and got one of those touchdowns, we may have seen a different outcome, because when Philadelphia is stressed, I don't know about, with Hurts in that case. But again, if you pull that thing up, Lord, that's a great. And I just want.
Yeah, I got a timestamp now, and then I'm gonna jump right as soon as you and I done. I'm gonna jump and play that clip right there.
I'm glad somebody who I feel that should be just a perennial Pro Bowler seen the same thing I said, and you'll probably testify and say, dog. He said the exact same thing Coach Marv said last week on his evaluation.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Coach Marv. I can't wait to listen to that timestamp there. Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you, brother.
That's a good call from Coach Marv, y'all.
The conference has been locked.
Yeah, I got a super chat from Phillips, and we're gonna read that, and then we're gonna scoop into this voice message from my guy Big Nate. He said, "I wish we bring T.Y. Hilton back. He made an instant impact last year against Philly, and he was wide open in that Francisco game." You ain't lying. Yes, he was open,
He ain't lying.
He was open. I know exactly what play you're talking about. They could put T.Y. in and Tolbert in rotations. Gallup can't separate right now, basically. And Phillip, when a player think about retirement, he retired, right? We do like the 33 in the third year age of T.Y. Hilton. They will have to bring him up to speed. If they will bring him in, they have to cut somebody and release somebody. And the Cowboys at this point, they probably would not play around with T.Y. at this time. But I do get that T.Y., he fit right on in, when it was necessary. Remember, it took him a couple of weeks, too, by the way. December T.Y. Maybe he will only be able to come to this team in December. I would tell him, hey, stay by the phone, stay near the phone. But for right now, I don't think that the Cowboys will bring T.Y. in. But I appreciate you, Phillip, for your super chat. All right, so let's just dive into this right quick. And this timestamp from Coach Marv. As you guys can see, Coach Marv sent me this. And shout out to thecowboys.com, SWBC Mortgage Studio. Let's listen.
Where did that start? I mean, I know he was a player here, but where did it become where that you will drive into Jackson State, you'll drive to Colorado, like he's your guy.
Yeah, it started. I heard about him in college.
Yeah,
a dude named Jesse Solomon told me, "Hey man, we got this dude at Florida State. I was at FAM, and Florida A&M, and he was telling me,
33 minute,
we
right?
got this great freshman." And then I watched him, run track and play a little baseball, just from a distance. Then we got to the pros, and him and Mike were pretty close. And we played against him. And hey, Prime, and I keep on about my business. And then he got a visit here, and Jerry was recruiting him.
Hey, Coach Marv, I know you wanted to talk about the O-line, but it seems as if though he about to talk about my other guy, Bale. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna take care of the people that's been holding on the phone line, and then we'll circle back, if that's okay with all of you all. And then we'll circle back because I know people, they've been waiting on the line for a minute. We're going to clear them out, and then we'll circle back. All right, I got two callers anyway. So I got Patrick, not Mahomes over here, live from the 757. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to me, man.
What's going on, Law? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, all is well. Talk to me.
That's good. Well, ditto everything Coach Marv just said, because I'm basically going to just talk about the offensive line too, because
go ahead.
The last 3 games have just been atrocious in my opinion.
True.
Because, yes, we need to get healthy. Yes, we haven't had a whole lot of continuity, but the whole game plan what Mike McCarthy wanted to do from the beginning of the offseason, the whole reason why we got rid of Kellen Moore was because he wanted to be able to establish the run,
right,
to be able to win the time of possession battle so that he can keep his defense fresh instead of trying to throw the ball 30, 40 times down the field, as we're seeing with the daggone Chargers.
True.
And what's happening is because we don't have the physicality on the offensive line, we got guys missing blocks. I saw one dude, Dak had to basically run for his life in the San Francisco game and in the Chargers game, just to be able to keep plays alive, because our offensive line hasn't been in sync. And granted, I'd like to see Dak run more, but I would like to see those plays run more into the red zone where we've had more struggles in than trying to have him scramble outside to try to make something happen. But my whole thing at the end of the day is that I know a lot of people want to see moves made, but coming out of the bye week, I want to see some level of improvement on that offensive line.
True.
Because if we don't get that improvement, we're going to have a long season. I'm not saying we're going to miss the playoffs, but it's going to be tough to see a long playoff run with the play of our offensive line right now.
Yes. West Coast is a principle whereas routes are married to the feet. And this is a new philosophy for the quarterback. I'm not saying that he's the reason why these offensive linemen are late to their appointments, you know what I'm saying, and giving up a gap, in the middle of the field and you having your quarterback scramble. There are some plays that people fail to realize that if it wasn't for the legs, of the quarterback, you'd be in some damn troubled situations. I'm just being real. If you go back and look at the tape, and that's a lot of things. Those are what we call hidden stats. Those are things that people don't talk about, but they look at the end results and say, "Hey, we keep being 3 and out." Now, there's some people that will say, "Hey, I see that this offense is not up to snuff." And two things, Pat, can be true. Two things can be true. Kellen Moore could have a real crazy system, right? And Mike McCarthy can have a real archaic system. Doesn't mean that, hey, we were right to get rid of one or the other. It's just what it is. Hey, look, I like what my guy Sky and Vach, I listen to them boys, and they should be on at 3 o'clock-ish, right? And they was talking about the same thing. They was talking. So I love it when I can see something and then they can talk about it. And as well as my guy, Boss Cowboy, Big Game James can talk about it. Damn it, these new systems of whatever, Kyle Shanahan is doing, whatever tree branch that those guys are falling from, pick one of those guys because they figure out ways to get separation. They are up to stuff on figuring out unique plays because even last night, Mike McDaniel, even though their offensive line was hobbled, even though they had some issues with the aficionados, there were still some creative plays.
Lord have mercy.
There's still some creative plays that we were sitting there like, hey, man, can we get one of those to spring open our quote-unquote wide receiver? Or can we have one of those rub routes? Where are these plays going, that we would see week 1, week 2, and then all of a sudden they disappear? So it can go to these wide receivers are not getting separation. The play calling to be kind of vanilla on certain routes. And on top of that, the overall scheme. Things are not being matched up and married together as far as the offensive line play, the quarterback feet to the wide receivers' route depths. So, yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. We need to get these things going.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, and this is my last point, I would like to see the run game going. Or better yet, just call some better run plays to utilize Pollard's speed.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's just like once he gets on the outside, ain't nobody catching dude.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody catching Pollard once he gets on the outside. So we got to figure out a way to call some better run plays instead of trying to run these north-south routes that are not going anywhere. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'm watching play. I'm like, why aren't they just showing them outside? Like, they had a couple of plays in the Chargers game. Brandon Cooks went outside. Okay, got the first down. Let that be Pollard. He getting you to the house.
Man,
let him do it, man.
Hello.
All I want to see is run the daggone ball.
Run the ball.
I'm saying that, reason why I'm saying that is because from 2014, when we were running the ball successfully, we had a successful season. 2016, we saw when we focused on running the football, open up the passing game, successful season. 2018, the same thing. Last season, the same thing. And I'm just like, look, the blueprint is right there, folks. Let's not go away from the blueprint and get cute, man. Let's win some football games.
Man, you said mouthful.
That's all I want to see. Win some football games.
Pat, you said the mouthful because my guy Jay-Z just had an interview with a lady, and I might bring it in at the latter part because I like to bring in some of those talks. And Jay-Z said, would you rather have $500,000 or have a sit-down lunch with Jay-Z? Guess what Jay-Z said in an interview?
Tell me.
He said, take the $500,000.
Yep.
I already gave you the blueprint, I already gave you the blueprint. Why would you sit down with me? I wouldn't tell you guys to take the worst deal. Take the $500,000, flip that, listen to what I said on the blueprint. And the Cowboys, what they have done is they took a quarterback who was athletic, they can move outside the pocket, they can throw some good balls, and hey, in certain situations, some balls he can't throw. But the blueprint was already there. You had a dominant running back, run the ball to open up the pass. And when that running back can't run to the degree and the levels that he used to, find another back that you can infuse together to do those things or get rid of said quarterback. The blueprint was already there. But the Cowboys hustling backwards. They taking the doggone sit-down lunch instead of the money. But that's a whole nother conversation I'll have to have a whole nother hour to talk about, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you for calling in, bro.
No problem. All I'm going to say is Cowboy Nation, stand up.
Stand all
let's get a win against the Rams. Sorry, I said Chargers.
I mean, they got the same colors. Beat them the same. That's all I want. I don't care what the win color is.
Beat LA. There you go.
Beat LA, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If we beat both New York teams, let's beat both LA teams. You know what I'm saying? Earlier this year. So I would say those type of things, ladies and gentlemen. Great teams always figure out ways. Somebody in the chat said, yeah, the Eagles still trying to trade for Kevin Byard. That's what they're trying to do. Jeremy Chin, they're not sitting back saying that they are satisfied. They're trying to make some movements. They are on the phone. Look, last week they was putting pressure on Howie Roseman. That's his name, right? Howie. They were putting pressure on him, They were relentless. Howard said, shoot, let me go ahead and get Julio Jones. They went and got a 33-year-old or 34-year-old guy themselves. So it's all about applying pressure. We can try to apply as much pressure as we can on the Jones family, and they're going to look at it and say, hey, at the end of the day, I got a yacht, I got a helipad, a helicopter, I got a gold jacket, I got a $4.5 billion stadium and a $3.5 billion workout facility. You can't tell me nothing, and y'all still going to go to the game and support us because we going to win home games, and we going to win a few games in the regular season. So y'all pump the brakes. But what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that we want to get over the top. We want to go beyond. And how we do that, if we already inked in with Dak Prescott, shout out, kudos, and credence to that. But let's put more and more weapons, more and more pieces around that. But some of y'all would prefer to lose just so y'all can be right. He ain't going nowhere. That's $60 million. There's no trade clause. That contract is whooping the Jones family left and right. They can't get rid of him even if they wanted to. I digress. Let's listen to Jerry Cruder says the Eagles just desperate. Desperate to win. Shoot, at this point. Hey, I would be embarrassed if I went to the Super Bowl, right, and you had all of those weapons, all of those pieces to lose, right? I would be trying to figure out how to get back. And that's what they're doing. So desperately speaking, that's what they're doing. All right, I got the 815. You're live on the Nation. This is Brandon. You talk to me, man. Talk to me.
And I just got to piggyback on what you just said a lot. Like, as much as I dislike Dak, what I dislike even more, we like our guys. I hate that. Like, if we trying to win, like, we hate the Eagles. But look what they do. They don't just sit around. Like, literally, you can say for at least the past 5 years, or the past 3 to 4 years, you can say, those guys, they go for it no matter what the cost is. I don't know where they salary cap is,
Man, they took them things off, man. Hey, no, hold on. Did they get Byard though? Let me just see, because it might be breaking news. If that is, I'm gonna be mad a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see. They may be catfish. Keep going, keep cooking.
All I'm saying is, like, we cannot, like, what we can never do is say, well, we like our guys. No, you always should be tinkering with the roster or the bottom of the roster. Something like Julio Jones. We were just talking about Julio Jones.
Right.
Guess who made a play Sunday night? Julio Jones. Like, all I'm saying is,
go get somebody. Go get a linebacker. Go get a running back. Go get somebody.
Damn, they did get him.
Them
jokers who went and got Kevin Byard. Man,
All I ask.
Man,
come on, man. I can't make this stuff up, man. Sources is from Ian Rappaport. Sources, the Eagles are trading for Kevin Byard. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God! I can't make this stuff up, yo. You know what I'm saying? Keep going. I can't make this stuff up. Talk to me.
But we like our guys. Like, come on. Like, Kevin Byard is not a world beater, but he makes their defense better. That's an upgrade. He an upgrade. Like, we don't even care about what's an upgrade. Like, you guys say Michael Gallup has lost a step. I think he lost 2 steps. Why not go get something back? Devontae Adams I don't think that would be a huge ask to go get Devontae. It wouldn't be a huge ask to go knock on Tampa Bay door and see if they are possibly let you get Devin White. Like,
man, Kevin Byard last year, man, forced man. Kevin, look, I'm gonna say this. Kevin Byard a dog. I trust my tape. He's a flat out dog. He was the reason why they was able to get those 2 interceptions last time we played the Titans. You know what I'm saying? He's the reason why they was being able to do certain things in the middle of the field. He's a flat out dog. You know, I ain't finna be sitting here talking about that.
Out there. He got some interceptions with Coop out
there. No, I'm talking about last year. I'm talking about last year. Kevin Byard. You know, from the Titans. That's who they got.
Yeah.
That's the dude that had 4 interceptions last season. He played inside, outside. He come down the field. He is a guy that can cover every blade of grass out there. And then for this season, of course, the Titans been kind of like, hey, but he haven't been terrible trash. He haven't been the reason why. So, yeah, man, look, we can talk about X, Y, and Z's, but a team got a sense of urgency, and one team don't. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and look, that don't make us less Cowboys fans to point that out. Like, we have to point out the obvious. And I agree with somewhat what the last caller said. Regardless if 2 things can be true. Law said that. I do agree with what Law said, but I also agree with what the last caller said. We do need to come out of this bye week playing better. I don't want to hear no more about no continuity, and I need to see it. Like, we done had 2 weeks. That the continuity should be there. Like, Law.
Hey.
It's not doomsday.
No, it ain't doomsday. Yeah, we need to. It's the trade deadline. You need to be on the sense of urgency. Either you believe in your team or you don't. You got to get out of that bed, get out of that yacht, stop putting the Johnny Walker Blue down, and get on the phones and try to will and deal. Because there are people that are the have-nots and there's the haves and the have-nots. And at the end of the day, guess who else out there? The excuses. They are waiting at the door. They are sitting there looking at you saying, hey, I'm here. Which one you want to talk to today? Because at the end of the day, if you're not trying to compete in this space, then you're going to be asking yourself, why are we just winning regular season games and not postseason games? I had somebody who sit there in the chat to say, Byard, not that good. In the last 2 seasons, he haven't made it the Pro Bowl. Are you out your mind? What kind of tape are you watching? In 2021, he had 5 INTs. Last season, he had 4 INTs. This dude covered every blade of grass. He is an enforcer on a team for the Titans. And now you move him to a better team. That's all I'm gonna say. Ultra Cowboys, Ultra Cowboys saying that he's overrated. I know that you want to water down the pick to make you feel good, but I'm not here to lie to kick it to you, bro. Kevin Byard is a nice safety.
Law, all you have to do is ask this question: which one of our safeties in the last 2 years has had 9 interceptions? And then we can move on from this.
Oh yeah.
What?
But this is what we can't do. Yeah, you can't water down a situation and say, well, he's been trash. Okay, all right, well, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, you talking? But we would take a safety getting us 4 interceptions right now. So, guys, they was a Super Bowl contender before this move. This just makes them better. Not that it's, again, we're not saying it's doomsday, but what are we doing to get better? That's the question you should be asking yourself if you're a Cowboys fan. What are we doing to get better?
Yeah, what are we doing to get better from the Cowboys' perspective? Okay, what are we doing to combat against what they just moved? If it's chess, are we playing checkers? You see what I'm saying? If it's a situation that if we got to go up against those boys in 2 weeks, right, and Kevin Byard is down inside the box there, and then he can flip his hips to get into the opening. Are you really trusting Jake Ferguson to catch the ball over Kevin Byard? Are you trusting Peyton Hendershot, if he's called back up from the injury report, to catch that ball over Kevin Byard? Are you trusting your guy to run through C-gap to evade and elude to get around him? You know, those are things that we have to ask ourselves. And now it's not just him. It's the other guys of the momentum and the philosophy of what I was talking about earlier, confidence. That's half of the battle.
And on top of that, because the answer is, well, thus far it's been no-ish. Like, we made a play here or there, but the answer has been, the answer would be no. But you also have to ask yourself this. Other than CD, we don't like to throw the ball just primarily to CD. We like to spread the ball around. Who would the Eagles be like, we scared of? You would say Byard, you can roam around because they only really got one person they can throw it to, so you can roam. Do what you do. Guys, you got to think big.
Man, I appreciate you so much for calling in, bro. I thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro.
Shout out to Law Nation, man.
That is Brandon. I don't want this to be too extended of talking about that. But what I'm saying here collectively is when you are in a fight, you're going to have to bring everything to the kitchen table. You know what I'm saying? The kitchen sink, everything is up for grabs when you are in a fight, when you're fighting someone. And if you're going to bring a knife to a gunfight, you can't sit back and be mad and angry and complaining that you lost that fight. Now, are we capable of beating them? Yes. We got capabilities of beating those boys. We got capabilities of beating every team is an any given Sunday. But what I'm saying here is that the Cowboys got to look into the mirror and say to themselves, where is our sense of urgency? I had people to make the justification last season. Oh, man, Noah Brown ain't that bad. We won games. We were able to win. We won 12 games with Noah Brown. But they don't see the other side. We could have been better without a Noah Brown, with a better player, a better, as what my guys say, a better dude. Oh, man, you just complaining because you didn't get who you want. But that's life. Jordan may have won a championship without Scottie Pippen, but damn it, he never did. Why? Because he didn't have a better guy. You have a better guy, the legacy is still the same. Jordan is one of the greatest players of all times. One can argue, not with Scottie. Without Scottie, he won't win one. But they don't taint your legacy of going out there grabbing extra guys to help you out. So that's just what it is. But what we will say here, and I'm not saying that we got Michael Jordan on our team. But what will be said here is, yes, you need extra guys, someone that can show up in moments, someone that can give you that extra push when you need it the most. Someone that you can look right in the eyes and say, hey, we're going to have to make this some good old you and I football. There's a reason why the Kansas City Chiefs said, you know what? Let's bring back Mecole Hardman. What do it cost? Well, we'll give them something. But y'all already 5-1. Well, we want to win. And going down this pathway, we won't get to this point. But you already got one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You don't need nothing else. No, we need something else to help get us over the hump. To help, we are winning games, but we're not winning games to the level that we supposed to. It is never a situation that I look back at, even Aaron Donald. And as great as a dominant player as he is, right? He used to be just as dominant as that guy, Myles Garrett. But by himself, they couldn't even get to the playoffs. They couldn't win games. So they had to make acquisition to get a Von Miller. They had to make acquisition to go get a Jalen Ramsey. They had to make acquisitions to go get another guy. I forgot his name is at the tip of my Leonard Floyd. At one point they had suicide. Why? Because as dominant as Aaron Donald is, he couldn't do it all by himself on that defense. But what the Cowboys would do, hey, we got Parsons, man. We don't need nothing else, man. We okay. We all right. Shoot, hey, Parsons. We got a Trayvon Diggs. We okay, man. We got Bland stepping up. But it's still not enough. It's not enough. But it is what it is. But it is what it is. Let me go down this pathway because I wanted to, before I get lost on this topic line. Coach Marv says 33.5. Let me see if I can get there, Coach Marv. We're going to try to get that audio in. Let's see. And definitely, I'm not complaining. There's a difference between complaining and explaining. We're explaining the situation. All right, I think it was Coach Marv. You saying it was right here? Right here, my dog. 33. Let's listen.
Forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a...
Where did that kind of...
You said 33.
And sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
All right, back here in Cowboys Storyline. I know I made a joke earlier about the second half, talking about Nate and Colorado, Deion Sanders, all that. You were there this weekend, but and I know that they lost a tough game. But real quick, the relationship that you have with Deion, where did that start? I mean, I know he was a player here, but where did it become?
All right, Coach Marr, he talking about a relationship with Deion. Is this the right time stamp, Coach Marr, before we read the super chat? Because I don't know if we talking about Deion right now. You know what I'm saying?
Give me my theme music.
Can we get the 95 Deion to come over here, y'all? Can we get that?
Damn.
You know? Oh, my goodness, man. Can we talk about that? You know what I'm saying? Coach Ball, give me the timestamp for me, man. And we will try to pick that up. But before we do that, let me see. Bam. We go right here and go look at the super chat. And I appreciate you, Phillips. But I think I left off on Sanjay. He says, if it's the same results in the playoff, the front office refused to make trades. The only hope Cowboys have is for Jerry. I ain't going to say that. I appreciate you saying soon. And the rest of his family fight over the control. CB and force the Cowboys to sell. Like the Jerry Jones bought this team for $140 million. They done converted $140 million to I believe that's just the listed sale price or the value of this team. I believe that this team is collectively, because it's always north of that, anywhere between $12 and $15 billion with a B. And if the family members of the Jones family can't keep this thing afloat, I'm quite sure that they wouldn't sell. They would not sell this team. They would not sell this team. And the only people that can have that type of money to buy this team is somebody that's over there in Dubai. The Dubai Cowboys, the only people that can probably afford this team to buy $12 to $15 billion. And I don't know whether or not, we'll be the Dubai Cowboys, right? We'll be playing in the desert somewhere over there. But I would tell you this, it's going to be a Jones family operating this team, whether it's Jones Jr., who we barely see, Charlotte Jones, or my guy Steven Jones. It's going to be a Jones family. And Jones they're going to still run it the same way, I believe. The only difference is that I think that Steven Jones will relinquish some of that general manager duty, and he will allow to either elevate Will McClay as the GM, or they'll go out and find one of their Arkansas buddies or somebody else to be the GM, or somebody within close ties of the family to be the GM, because they run this like a mom and pop's business. That's the reality of it. So, and then they got AI Jones, artificial intelligent Jones. So he might outlive us all. They might transfer his brain into the AI, and it could be one of those type of things where Jones is still thinking and controlling his team, and it'll be saying this would be the thought track of what Jones would do in the amount of general managers, and he would still be making the selection. So that's all I'm going to say, man. We got Big Daddy Long. Come running back situation, I'm willing to give us until Thanksgiving. Well, according to the news, we would know a little bit before Thanksgiving, by the way. We would know a little bit before that time frame. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to the nation. All right, I got another super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Law, I am here always to support the nation, even from my hospital bed. Put your prayers together for my Sadiq Charles that's in here. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you. I'm still live, or are we short? We still live over here on the Facebook, so it might have went away on the YouTube. I started talking too much. I started talking too much on the YouTube, man. But, hey, if y'all can refresh, come back in, man, it'll be a plus for us. If y'all can do that. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Sanjay says, wrong, only one person can have the majority control, so the family will fight over it, and it will be forced to sell. This is from Sanjay. Well, they're going to sell it to the Dubai boys, you know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. I think that, am I here or where I'm at, y'all? Am I still alive? I'm free at last. I'm telling you, they got special buttons to take me away, man, when I'm spitting too much truth. So y'all calm down just a little bit. We can't spit too much truth over here. Yes, indeed. So, man, as a content creator, if you are an Eagle fan, you should be proud. You should be happy, because not only is your team is out there trying to better their best, but they're 6-1 trying to get better. They're not satisfied. You got to look back at it from that aspect. Hey, sell the team to Elon is from Camo. Do Elon got enough money? Shoot, that Twitter took him out a little bit. I don't know if he have $12 to $16 billion that he's willing to sink in on the Cowboys. And I don't think that they will. Here's another controlling part of it. In order for you to buy the team, you got to be bought into the circle. So just you can have the money, but how the rulings go with the NFL, you got to win over the 31 other owners, and then they will have to vote you in to even get in. So right tomorrow, I can have $20 billion to my name, and I can say, well, I want to be part of the NFL inner circle. I wouldn't have that Bohemian Grove type of skull and bone type of access right now. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't really let me into that inner circle. Yeah, Camo says he got $200 billion. they probably would let him into that inner circle. They probably say he'll mess up the groove, so he wouldn't have enough money. You know what I'm saying? Enough sacrifice. You know,
Yes! Here we go!
Sacrifice. Yes, indeed. He wouldn't have enough. You know, y'all think I'm lying. Well, you got to be in the inner circles to even get a chance and an opportunity to buy the team. All right, so Coach Marv says, I sent it again on Twitter. Inbox you the next show. Sent it to the 33.49 marker. Okay, good. All right. So let me go here. I'm going to try to find it again, Coach Marv. I really appreciate you so much. And we are down to, it was 700 people in here watching. And I started to spit the truth. And then all of a sudden, it went away, and now we only got 115 some odd people in here. It's a shame what they do to the nation.
It's an evil world we live in.
It's an evil world, man. All right, so I'm going to see if I can clip this audio. You said a 33-minute.
The following.
We got some phone lines are open, so give us a call, 888-855-2297. We'll be right back here on Cowboys.
The work you did on the field and
trying to get through the bye week. This is a tough week to kind of get through. This is going to be a challenge, I think, with shows. Now, you know, I like to talk. You got guys on your show that love to talk.
Yes.
So it should be fine. But it is kind of tough when you don't have a game for, 2 full weeks like that, and you got to get ready for this Rams one. But we'll certainly figure it out. We know you guys love to talk, so let's get to the phone lines. Anthony in Seattle. Anthony, what's up, man?
Is this the right one?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? Man, I always appreciate your show. And
appreciate it.
And Nate, just the opportunity, man, to be able to talk to you, man, it's nothing more than a blessing, man. Just the work you did on the field and your story off the field is truly inspirational. So, with that being said, I mean, I can't not call and ask a question about the offensive lineman if I have one of the greatest offensive linemen.
Is this the right audio, Coach Mark? We appreciate you for the $2 super chat.
Nate, not a lot. I mean, or has a lot changed in how offensive linemen play when you were playing versus what it is now? Like, the basic principles shouldn't have changed as much, but I guess a lot has changed. I'm not sure. I want to get your opinion on that. And the other thing is that with how as great of an offensive lineman that you were and the team that you played with, what do you think is the missing ingredient or missing key that would make us that great offensive line currently? And if we are missing it 6 games into the season, do you think we can get it and turn it around and actually make a true end-of-the-season run and hopefully a playoff and Super Bowl run? So that's just my question. I know I put a lot out there, but just want to see if you could speak to that.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Take care of those kids.
I'm going to tell you something. Physical. This offensive line is not physical enough. And that's the bottom line. We got to get tougher.
How do you get tougher in the season? Can you get tougher?
It's just a mindset, and maybe it's health. My right guard ain't as physical as he needs to be. Our right tackle is still recovering. So it's kind of I'll tell you guys, it's hard for me to judge a kid like it was for me for Michael Gallup last year, where you coming off a Achilles or you coming off a bad knee tear. It's just hard for me to sit up and say, hey, man, we just paid you a tub of money. You need to be doing – no, it don't work that way.
Facts.
These injuries, these are still humans we're talking about. Now, Tyron Smith, hats off to you, tip my hat to you, but you can see him aging. Mm-hmm. You can see him aging. Our left guard is okay.
He ain't lying.
Need better players around him. You're right. Your center got to get healthy. Our center is above average center, but he has to be healthy. Injuries take away from his ability to play well.
Yeah. You know, the thing.
Man. Oh, boy, spitting. He's spitting the truth at y'all right now. Oh, my goodness, he's spitting at y'all, man. Coach Marv, that's a great clip right there from
not blogging the boys, but Storyline. Shout out to those boys. It's the bye week, by the way. And I got no rebuttal to that, Coach Marv. The O-line, and he talking about can you do the physicalities midseason? There was a great response, too, by Nick Eatman. I would say this. We got to hold everything we say until this weekend. Literally, we got to hold back everything because at this point and at this time, we have to say to ourselves, let's see what we look like now, because this will be the 4th week that you have a Tyron, that you have a Tyler Smith playing next to Tyron, as well as Tyler Biadasz getting that extra time. Remember what he said. He's a C player, but when healthy, he's a B. So we will see whether or not Tyler Biadasz is elevated up a little bit better. And, of course, the whole mindset of Zach Martin missing out on training camp, we seeing some of those spillovers. And like he said with Terrence Steele, man recovering. And he said a mouthful about Michael Gallup for his physicality. We had to understand that. Coming off of an ACL, coming back, and then going into this season, seeing if we ever going to get the Michael Gallup before the injury occurred. Are we ever going to get that guy that you done sink $60 million into? Who we selected him over Amari Cooper. That's just what it is. Let's listen to this one more time. Let's see what this got to say.
You see what the Eagles do on 4th and 1 or 2. They do the shove,
the brotherly shove,
push, whatever you want to call it. But the thing about it is, it starts with Kelsey, the center. It starts with him. It starts with that guard. And they do it differently than the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, if they're going to do that play, to me, you don't have Rico Dowdle pushing. You have a tight end back there or a bigger guy, and also their guard and tackle will slide in and also push as well. So they need stronger guys to push, but also starts there at center. So.
My friend, that is their thing. They're good at it. Mm-hmm. We are not, and the rest of the league is not. I don't want them to take it away because they think one team has advantage because they got a quarterback that can squat over 600 pounds.
I would take it away. I think the league will take that play away.
Man. So whether they take it,
I'm not with the belief that the league should take it away. It is a football play. Damn it, they figure it out first. If they didn't take zone cover defenses away, then because the NFL didn't used to play zone cover defense. Why did they play zone cover defense? Because Bullet Bob, who remember him? It's way before my time. You got to get innovative to stop those type of things that's automatic, that's unstoppable. You got to figure it out. So just because they good at it don't mean that, hey, what you going to call? What you going to call if you do try to take it away? What would be your reason? Crowding the line? No pushing on the back of your own player. You got to think down the line. Stop them before they get to that point. Beat them at their own game, even though it's often imitated, never duplicated. I get it. Or often duplicated, never imitated. Y'all help me out with that. But, man, the Eagles fool around and got that dude. Let me show y'all, there you go right here, fast away, boom. There we go. That's 2021. And then 2022, unbelievable in coverage. And then this season, still on pace for doing exactly what he did the previous season. So it's one of those things, whereas Kevin, he's going to be a good point for them, a good assets for them. He's going to be a good perennial safety for them. He's going to be a guy that come down the field. So the Cowboys has got to be ready, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. The storyline has already been written. The narrative has already been sold to many. And you're going to have to figure that part out one way or another, ladies and gentlemen.
One way or not.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Tony in it.
That was the end of that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk more and more things. We got to actually dip on up out of here. But I want to let y'all know that if you really trying to win at all costs, you trying to get in front of the things that people will say, oh, man, they're making excuses. Oh, man, they're not trying to do it all. And you're going to have to figure out those type of things, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, there'll be many people to say, I want to be great. I want to do things to get me beyond this point to the next point. But what are you doing? We got our guys. We like our guys. At this pace, we can win 12 to 13 games. At this pace, we can do things. We can win a playoff game. Are we efficient enough? Do we have somebody when your quarterback is not playing up to stuff? Can your defense hold down the fort? And when your defense allowing yards to be ran on you or getting blown coverages, can your offense stand tall? That's what a team is all about. A team, baby. Together, everyone achieves what? More. More and more. More and more. If you want something bad, you got to figure out ways to go out there and get it. Just like I always use the analogy of a beautiful lady dancing in the middle of the dance floor. I'm going to wait for the next song. I'm going to wait for the next song. I'm going to wait till she get tired. Maybe if I send her friend a drink, maybe she'll partake and see me for who I am. Or you got to walk out there on the dance floor and get rejected sometimes. Never know. She may be the one for you. There's somebody right now who's like, yeah, man, I saw Kamika on the dance floor. I didn't want to bother her. But damn it, this other guy did. That's supposed to be my lady. How many people like that? How many people see that job opening and they already put themselves in a box? I'm already making $80,000 a year. This job says $120,000. I really don't qualify for it. Why not you? You got the knowledge. You got the ability. You graduated top of your class. Why not you? There are so many people who would be willing to settle for less. So many people. We good, you know. I'm getting a raise next month. It's going to bring me up to $82,000 a year. I'm okay with that. When you have the ability to make $180,000 a year, how many people are just like that? Too comfortable. The Cowboys. We won 12 games last year with Noah Brown. Quarterback broke his thumb. He was out for a few games. Hey, we got this good defense. We okay. All we got to do is just play smarter. Let's get rid of the coaching staff. Let's get rid of that player. Let's, as Cowboy fans, fight about the quarterback that's here. That's like office furniture. They ain't going nowhere. Let us lobby for the backup quarterback. And then we'll win games and we'll yell, we them boys. Let's add no solution to the matter. But let me tell you, thinking like that will not get you far. It will not. Always be looking for a situation that you can change right now. Not saying that just because I'm going up there and picking up the phone and say, hey, Patrick Surtain, that we out on Trayvon Diggs, that we out on Deron Bland, that we out even on Stephon Gilmore, but dog it, we trying to win. How many of you guys out here are trying to win? Write these things down, ladies and gentlemen. And let me get some fires in the chat. Some people make $80,000 on a $25,000 mindset. Yes. And before we go into that, the money don't make you. I know some people that make $25,000 to $30,000, and you would think that they make $100,000. I know some people that make $130,000 to $150,000, and they're living check to check, broke, busted, and disgusted. And you would think that, Lord, that they're making $25,000. So it's all about your resources and how you can utilize those things. But let me see some fire in the chat and write these things down. If there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring or mean makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turn hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was brother, I'll ride with brother, roll with brother. How about them Cowboys? The morals of the life, live, love, and respect for another. Then there are those who will try to be smart. You see, they would take the decent man to alter his heart, to seek to rip him apart. Those, man, you should never call a friend or a fan, because they bend the lies around the truth till it meet their end. And if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, to lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty or famish or fame or sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset, with the help of Almighty, you will get it. There's people that's saying that, hey, I'm going to fight to get back to the top. I don't care if it costs me a 3rd round draft pick. I don't care if it's going to cost me talking the truth about this player. I don't care even if you are undefeated. If you see something that you need to take some control of, you do it. Why? Because I want to win. We were talking about remunerations earlier, right? And there's always an inverse strategy. Not all money is good money. So I'm going to give you the inverse of it. Sometimes it's probably better to make the 82,000 juxtaposed to 180. But as long as you know that, hey, you got a peace of mind, your quality of life is going. You don't have to make a G. Look, Tupac said you made a G today, but you made it in the sleazy way. As long as you're doing what's right by the man above, or the creator above. There's no man above, creator above. I don't want the conscious community to say, Law, y'all speaking yourself. But you got to formulate your mind to do such and keep things in proper perspective. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's get on up out of here. Roll those credits.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
Slap all the haters.
Yeah, I just wanna run it up. Count a check or something. I've been really in the field, yeah. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Half a ticket to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up, yeah. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change. To the safe, got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Half a ticket to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Let's go, baby!
Kinda check a song. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah, I want me some royal. I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clothes. Yeah. I be at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on